And here we go.
420 for 20 long years. I smoked lots of reefer, drank lots of beer. Every day at 420, we're going to settle the score. And for 20 long years, it's been 20 past 4.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to 420 Live. I'm Jeff Kravitz. Still Jeff Kravitz. Every day I have to check. As you know, as you get older, you start losing your brain. And one day I'm going to wake up and I'm not going to know who I am. But today, I got to figure it out. Happy Groundhog Day. I'm sorry, all my friends out there on the East Coast that are buried under snow right now. But you got 6 more weeks of winter coming up. I was going to say summer. 6 more weeks of winter coming up. Puxatawny Phil has seen his shadow. So I'm sorry. Here in Los Angeles, that means we have 6 more weeks of 65 to 70 degrees left. As you know, I left the East Coast many, many years ago and have an aversion to winter now. I like it when I ski, but then I don't want to go skiing because it's too cold. So, you know, it's a constant balance in our lives to keep temperate, to keep our bodies comfortable. I talked to my mom today. She's in Atlantic City, and she said they didn't have much snow, but they had a little bit of snow. They closed the school. She went out to get the paper, and the steps were all icy. And I'm like, Mom, you know, you are old enough to leave the house. You don't have to stay there in the wintertime. But, you know, trying to convince people that they should leave. They like to suffer. People like the winter. I don't get it. They're like, I love it. I love the change of season. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. Take me somewhere. Take me away. Kame. I am leaving Sunday to go to Mexico for a couple weeks to go diving. See my good friend Henry Schultz down there at Salty Endeavors, one of my favorite dive shops in Cozumel, and get down there. It's about 125 feet down, where it's just you and the fishies and this amazing coral wall going down, and you're just in this Zen world floating. Nobody can talk to you. You can't hear anything. You just hear the bubbles. You know, it's not like you have any kind of distractions, and you get in this Zen state where you're just floating along and you're seeing the coolest shit. So I'm really looking forward to getting away. It's been kind of crazy here in Los Angeles. They opened up the dining. We're back to, it kind of feels like life's coming back, and it's the simplest thing because everything's been closed and desolate now for like 8 to 10 weeks, and you're driving by stuff and you're like, what is this? Why are we dealing with this? But now everybody's out. People are feeling better. I went to the doctor the other day, and she told me they're not having the cases they had. They were having 10 people a day show up with the COVID, and now they're not having anybody show up a day with the COVID. So she said the efforts here in California worked, which is why things are opening back up. And hopefully that's the same in the whole country, and we can get back to rocking and rolling. And, you know, today we are going to rock and roll. Micky James is here all the way from Princeton, New Jersey, and we're going to bring him in here in just a minute. He has a big show coming up tomorrow night at the Met in Philly. I mean, with that stage, Phil, I was at the Met to see Fish last year. It was absolutely in November of last year. It was my first time at the venue. The venue is absolutely a diamond. I mean, everything about it is just perfect. It's a beautiful old building that they renovated, and the sound is impeccable. The seats, the views, there's not a bad seat in the house. You know, it's a classic opera house, like many of the opera houses, many of the Mets throughout our country. And here in Los Angeles, you know, we don't have really an opera house. We have the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. We don't have any of that old classic, but the Disney Hall is kind of built like it, or the Kodak Theater is what I'm thinking of. It's built like an old thing. Now the Dolby. They change the theater name so fast and furious these days. But we got Micky waiting right here. I'm not going to make him wait any longer. Welcome Micky James to the show, folks.
Hello.
Hey, Micky.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
How's it going there?
It's going good. We got a crazy snowstorm, like 20 inches here in central New Jersey. So we're all just kind of locked in right now. I mean, we've been locked in all year, but this really locks us in.
like when you have a weather event in the middle of a lockdown, you're like, well, I've already been practicing this.
It doesn't even matter. Yeah. But yeah, everything's good. Everything's great.
So the show, is this something that they've taped already, or it's going to be live tomorrow? You got to go to Philly tomorrow.
No, this is already, this is pre-taped. We filmed this in October of 2020, and it's going to be premiering on Bands in Town Live at 4 p.m. EST.
So nobody's seen it yet.
No one has seen it yet. Just me and my tight knit group of team members and band and stuff. So I'm very excited.
So I'm sure. Have you played the Met before?
I've never played the Met. That's I play a lot smaller venues in Philly. The Met is kind of like the mecca indoor venue in Philly. Other than Wells Fargo, I think the Met is right below it. But no, I haven't played there, and it was pretty surreal. Even without an audience, it was pretty incredible just playing that place. I was kind of amazed by just the scenery and the architecture. You mentioned before, it's like a diamond. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it was. It felt very very cool to be up there.
Yeah, and it's not your typical rock and roll venue.
It's not, but I like that. I like theaters, and I'm very into my performance is pretty theatrical the way I perform, so I kind of adapted quite nicely to my surroundings.
So we have a video clip we're going to play in a second, but you guys are all in a circle playing towards each other. Is that how you usually practice when you're in the jam room? Is that the same type of setup?
Yeah, during rehearsal we're always kind of facing each other. So it was pretty comfortable performing like that. But even we haven't really seen each other in quite a long time, me and my band. So we were really just feeding off each other, the energy, and it felt so good. So you'll see it in the clip.
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit. Talk to us about where you were about a year ago coming into this pandemic in the beginning.
About a year ago, I mean, I had a lot of things planned for the spring of 2020. In the summer, I had tour plans and a bunch of regional shows booked in Philly and New York City. And then, of course, COVID came and kind of destroyed all those plans. And throughout the year, I've been writing a lot of new music, which is going to come out sometime this year, maybe this spring. I've been writing a lot of new music, and I put out a song about maybe September, a single called Kings, and that did pretty well. And I was really eager to give my fans and concert goers a glimpse of hope for what's to come in 2021. So I really wanted to film a live concert experience. And I was lucky enough to team up with such a fantastic crew and team of people at the Met: Jeff Gordon, Live Nation Philly, my manager, Walter McDonald, Shep Goodman, and we were able to make this happen. And it's kind of, I wasn't really expecting it to look as good as it is. It came out really amazing. And that was because of Steve Garfinkel, Skylar Watkins, Zach Connor. They made this really come to life, and it's quite beautiful.
Have you ever recorded a multi-camera performance before?
I have not. No. I mean, besides doing music videos, but not as like a live band. Like, all
right. Well, what was the thing that surprised you the most when you saw it?
Really, the video.
Yeah, when you saw the video and you saw all the angles and you saw the way you guys gelled and performed and how polished it looked, what kind did you have, like something that it revealed itself to you that you didn't know about yourself and your performance before you saw it?
Well, I mean, going back to the atmosphere of the venue, it's just stunning. Also, it kind of surprised me. I don't really watch too many like recap videos of me and the band live. So I kind of took in how tight of a band we are for not playing for like a year. I mean, I think we had one rehearsal before we filmed this, and then we played the set maybe once or twice. But I was pretty pleased how tight we are as a band, and the chemistry is quite locked. So yeah, I think people are gonna notice it as well.
Was there any, and the flip side, was there anything you saw that you were like, I shouldn't do that I'm not going to do that anymore?
No, I didn't notice that. No.
So you're happy with the way you project, because you have your persona live is very energetic and out there. You're an amazing front guy. You definitely have that personality and that energy that it takes to be a live guy. So, your influences obviously are, I see, of course, the Bowie, the Jagger, the Iggy Pop-ish, I getting that. But I'm also, like, when I was listening to your music, because I had your music playing, I was picking up Portugal the Man. And I don't know if that's an influence for you or not. But
yeah, they're not like, I don't know enough of their catalog, but they're a really cool band. From the songs I've heard on the radio, they're really cool. I like them.
You have like this new pop sensibility, which I thought was really cool. It's like a modern take on the classics. You hear the influences, but you also hear the originality, which is really hard to pull off these days.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm always striving to make my music feel new. I mean, I'm so inspired by the past and that, kind of music, classic pop and classic rock and roll. And I'm always trying to take that and move that forward.
Well, it's not a very popular genre these days.
It's not, and with it not being that popular, that excites me because I can kind of like dive into that and get my hands dirty and kind of like stir up this new sound and deliver it as a modern rock sound. And hopefully people hear it. Maybe people don't, but I like that world that I'm living in. So yeah.
But you grew up in Jersey. What were your influences growing up?
Well, I grew up listening to a lot of stuff. I mean, I got into music at a really young age because my dad's a guitar player. I started playing guitar at like 8. He got me into like the Beatles, Van Morrison, Led Zeppelin, the Doors. So I grew up listening to a lot of classic rock and roll when I was super young, and my cousins are also musicians, and they got me into a lot of contemporary bands at the time, which I think was like My Chemical Romance. They're from New Jersey. And I would go through phases, as a teenager and stuff. But then once I started to get into songwriting and learn how to sing, which was probably around 17, 18, that's when I went back to what my parents got me into, which was, like I said, the Beatles and Bob Dylan. And that music kind of always stuck with me. I mean, I feel like to me, it's some of the best music that's ever been produced and the best songwriters. And I still listen to that music to this day. It's constantly surprising me, constantly influencing me. Yeah. So
it's also music that reveals itself in different ways to you as you get older and starts meaning different things to you as you start living and understanding what people were writing about.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It starts to make sense a little bit more when you get older and a little bit more wiser, especially listening to like Bob Dylan,
Yeah, well, Bob Dylan was wise because he sold 600 songs for $300 million. So
I just saw that. I think it was like maybe a month ago. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. I mean, if you think about it, but now you're going to see Dylan songs in commercials and everything else. I guess it's only fair, right? The guy worked hard all his life.
Absolutely.
He was probably as non-commercial as you could get in an artist.
For sure. Yeah.
So what's your biggest platform? Where do you connect with your fans the most?
I'd say Instagram is my biggest social platform that, me and my fans kind of share the most dialogue. Yeah, Instagram.
How about turning on to your music and stuff? And is a Spotify crowd? You have I know you're on Spotify. I was listening to your music yesterday. And where do you find that you turn on people? Is YouTube?
Yeah, I think Spotify. But also Instagram. I think Instagram's became this like huge platform for discovering new music. I found new music on Instagram, and kind of creating this like, tight knit relationship with your fans. Some of my fans show me new music through Instagram, so I feel like Instagram is my biggest platform.
Do you ever got into the TikTok?
I just started getting into TikTok. But I haven't dived in enough. I really like Instagram. I feel like it's maybe one of my favorite like social media platforms.
Yeah, but music nowadays, like TikTok is the place where music artists are discovered. Crazy enough that 7 out of the top 10 songs right now are TikTok songs. And
I know.
it's just so bizarre to me because I came up from a generation of these acts you were talking about where you had to prove yourself to a record label before you got accepted. You know, there's a great story about Jackson Browne where he was discovered because the girl was emptying her boss's trash can and she saw the picture fall out and she was attracted to the guy and she picked it up and she was like, whoa, this guy's cute. And she took the tape home and listened to it. And the next day she walked back into her boss's office with the picture and the tape and said, you need to listen to this guy, you know? So
that's amazing. I never knew that. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a couple famous trash can bands that were saved from obscurity from pulled out of the trash can. Jackson Browne, you know, the way he looked when he was a young man was just stunning. You know, he was just like, whoa, Jackson Browne. But also another amazing singer and songwriter. People discover artists now through TikTok, through Instagram, through Twitter, through all these different means, and their friends turning them on. You know, back in the day, you'd have to steal your older brother's vinyl to.
Yeah. I wonder if that still goes on though, like vinyl sharing or like, you know, hand-me-down records from your family.
Well, it's happening now, but then you have to have the whole setup to play it. Do you listen to vinyl?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like a crazy collector. I have like, you know, the essentials, but I love vinyl, especially for certain records. A lot of like classic pop and rock and roll albums. I
just have a hard time turning it over in 17 minutes and remembering, and then you'll just sit there spinning around for an hour and you're like, oh, that's right.
Yeah. What's nice though, sometimes like after side A is finished and like you can just hear it like that hiss kind of sound, like just kind of linger. It's kind of nice. It's kind of relaxing. I like it.
Let's take a look and show people what they have to look forward to off of this trailer here. Let me see the best way. I think this is going to work. It should play the volume 2. If the audio doesn't play, just let me know. But let's check this out. February 3rd. That's rocking. Holy crap. That's epic. The 3-piece power trio, and then you played guitar. Have you always played guitar? Or is that something you started later? Or
yeah, that was my first instrument was guitar. And I played guitar in bands up until I was like 17. And then whatever band I was in at the time, we couldn't find a singer. And I was like, I'll give it a shot. And that's when I kind of started to develop a voice. And yeah, I've always played guitar in bands. I still play guitar in some songs now in live. But I really just focus on being a singer now.
Well, your range is incredible. So you didn't realize you had a range like that before you started getting into it?
No, that took years to develop. I started out singing. My brother is a singer, and he's kind of like a baritone singer. So I kind of naturally developed that in my voice as well. And, you know, when you're learning an instrument, you kind of always go to, you know, you go to the bands that kind of like you grew up listening to, and The Doors was one of them for me. And Jim Morrison had that kind of baritone, swaggery thing to his voice, and that kind of drew me in, and that gave me confidence to sing, because I thought singing in a baritone voice was kind of strange. And then as time went on, I started to listen to other singers and start developing a higher range. So it took some time.
But did you take vocal lessons at all to learn how to move the air in and out, or no?
No, I never took a vocal lesson.
Wow. I mean, I took a vocal lesson very early on because my dad's like, well, you know, you're not a really good singer. If you think you're going to sing in a band, you should take a lesson. And I took it with a guy who was a barber. He's still in Atlantic City. He's an amazing singer, Sal. He's actually helped a bunch of American Idol kids out down there. He trains people's voice and stuff. His last name's escaping me, but I'm going to come on it. And I remember him talking just about airflow and stuff like that. And I just can't imagine like trying to figure that out on your own.
I don't know. I somehow figured it out. How to breathe properly, and yeah, I'm not sure. Same with guitar. I never had guitar lessons. I figured it out by ear. I just listened to albums and I would play to them. And same with singing. Like I just listened and I would sing to the songs and just keep building my range. And yeah,
and you got there.
Vocal lessons.
Well, it's amazing because you definitely have the range. So how did you guys record? You said you had some new music coming up. How did you guys record? Did you record? It's already recorded?
A lot of it is already demoed. I have a little like home studio set up at my place. So I've been kind of mapping out the ideas, and I work with these songwriters, Jackson Hoffman and Ryder Stewart. And we collaborate and co-write and co-produce the songs together. So we've been doing like Zoom sessions to finish them, which has been, it's been working, but I totally miss being in a studio, face-to-face collaborating.
How far away is everybody? Are they all in different cities, or?
They both live in Queens. So yeah, it's a little far.
It's a little far. You're not getting together unless you really have to, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Or until the weather gets better, at least, and the COVID goes down.
Yeah. We're hoping to get in together as soon as possible because these songs are all like demoed out. We just want to get into a studio with the band and track these live. So
do you think you would release it before you could play it live and take it out on the road?
Yeah.
Would you release it in the middle of the pandemic? Yeah,
no, definitely. I mean, I think with these new songs, I want to record them live with a band. Some of the songs that are out now, we've recorded the instruments separately, like drums and stuff, but I want to make this a live kind of experience, like when recording these new songs as well. I think what we did, we recorded this song Cry Baby that I have out right now, and we did that as a live band, and that kind of like opened the door for me.
By live, do you mean all you guys in the studio playing at the same time instead of tracking?
Correct. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of bands, from my knowledge now, don't really do that, but because our band has such a great chemistry and we're so locked, we're fortunate where we can kind of pull that off. And I think with some of these new songs, that would really, I think that would really work.
Yeah. So, nowadays you really don't get together with your band unless you're all living in the same area or decided to lock down together, to be together, to do something like that. So everybody has been recording their demos in their home studios. Everybody has a home studio now. Exactly. I think you would have gone crazy, really, if you think about it. Can you remember the last time you've been cooped up this long? You were probably a teenager.
Yeah. I must have been really young, but I somehow I'm sure for a lot of people, we just got like used to it and I got comfortable with it, but I miss kind of what everybody misses. It's like going to live shows, playing live shows, that real interaction with people. That's really what I miss.
Yeah, it's been really hard. And so, music fan, what's one of your favorite concerts you've seen?
Well, actually, one of my favorite shows I've seen was at the Met, and it was this band called Catfish and the Bottlemen. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yes, I have. I've actually photographed them. They were at a festival I shot. Amazing live band.
Amazing live band. I've been such a fan of their music for so long, but I've never seen them live, and I saw them live. I was like, wow, this is a really, really good band. Like, amazing songs. They were fantastic. I've seen Iggy Pop perform. That was incredible. I've seen so many shows, but I know Catfish was the most recent one, and that was at the Met, and that was amazing.
Yeah, crazy name.
It is a crazy name. I know. Very interesting. I give him credit for coming up with that. That's cool.
Yeah, and then when you go show it, you're like, what is this going to be? And then you sit down and you're like, whoa, these guys are really off their rocker. They kind of remind me, and I heard some of this in your music too. It's a little Arcade Fire. Were they an influence at all for you or no?
Love Arcade Fire. Yeah.
Some of your anthemic, like your that the hit that was playing on that trailer at the end of the trailer, kind of remind me of some of their like songs where they're all singing together and yelling in the mic. They're an incredible live band, also.
Yes, I've seen them in Philly as well at Wells Fargo. Yeah, that whole like era of music, like Arcade Fire, The Killers, and The Strokes, like those are also huge influences on me. So yeah, you might be able to hear it in my music. No one's really like mentioned Arcade Fire, but they're quite a big influence on me.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad I heard that because I was like, because I try to pull it out of the music when I'm listening to it, and feel like where I think your head is at times, and because there's so much different music I've heard in my life that every time I hear something, it naturally you're like, what is this? Where's the familiarity? What do you latch onto? And you have a lot there to latch onto. So
yeah, good ear. Yeah, that's funny you picked up on that. A lot of people probably wouldn't, but yeah.
Yeah, believe me, I've had to sit through a lot of bands where I'm like, okay, even the first time I saw Arcade Fire live was at Coachella, and they were all up on stage, and I've never seen a band, actually one other time, where they're fighting over the microphone and hip checking each other and knocking each other out of the way. And I was like, holy, these guys are violent up there. They're just like, if one guy didn't get the microphone first, the other guy would just swipe it out of his hand. I'm like, the other band I saw do that was 9 Inch Nails, where he would come out on stage and he would literally come running across the stage and hip check his keyboardist in the middle of a song. And not only like knock his keyboardist out, but the keyboard would go flying. The roadies would go out there and set everything back up, and then he'd knock everything over again. And I was like, Trent Reznor was nuts when he was the first couple times he played.
He's a wild man, but yeah, that's crazy.
You're not knocking things down on stage, are you? Have you got to that point yet?
I don't hit anybody on stage. I sometimes throw my guitar. Sometimes. But no.
Yeah, well, that Les Paul, they weigh about 25 pounds. So you hit somebody with that thing, you're going to kill them.
I threw my guitar at one show in LA. I think I was opening up for the Struts. And I was playing a Rickenbacker. It was actually my dad's Rickenbacker. He gave it to me a long time ago. And there's a video of me on YouTube. And at the end of the show, I just throw it. And my dad saw it, and he was like, oh, my God, that's the Rickenbacker. Like, it's so precious to him. But it didn't break or anything. Thank God. It landed. The way it landed was crazy. Like, it was like it landed so gentle. It was weird. Maybe you can find it. But, yeah, I'm not too reckless on stage.
You have to, you don't want to poke anyone's eye out. You got to be careful up there, especially your own.
Yeah. Especially the Roxy stage is quite small. So, yeah, you could definitely do some damage to somebody.
Absolutely. You can take someone out. What's some of you have a wacky story about something that's happened to you while you're performing?
Wacky.
Strange, out of the ordinary, where you were just like, okay, that's never happened before.
I'm sure there is. I just can't quite put my finger on it. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. How about this? Favorite venue in the U.S. that you've played? Besides the Met, of course.
I really like the Bowery Ballroom in New York City. That's a really cool venue. What else? The Fonda Theater in LA. I've played there. I really like that venue. That's a beautiful theater.
Yeah, that's been around for a while too.
Yeah.
A lot of great shows there.
Yeah.
Have you played Red Rocks or anything like that? Any of the outdoor majestic?
No, but I mean, from the photos I've seen of Red Rocks, it looks unbelievable. So hopefully one day I'll be there.
Red Rocks is really cool. The Gorge is really cool. I mean, we're going to get back to rocking and rolling. I mean, you guys don't have any plans. I can't imagine that you have plans. Do you to play live, or do you?
I do. I'm booked to do this festival cruise. It's called the Rock Boat, and that's happening November 7th to the 12th of this year. So. And that's with like Switchfoot, Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness, and there's a bunch of other bands as well. So it's kind of crazy to think like I'm doing like a mini tour this year. I feel like it's just never going to happen again, like touring and playing shows.
Well,
But
I think by November we should have things in hand. It looks like people are getting vaccinated. They're increasing the amount of vaccinations. You know, if you believe what you hear, we're 20% above in 2 weeks from where we were before the election or before the president got sworn in. So, you know, we're hoping everybody gets vaccinated and that we can get back at it. I think November is probably a pretty good bet, you know,
to yeah. I mean, they're saying maybe even a little earlier, like for shows and festivals.
My fingers crossed for Labor Day. I'd like to see Bonnaroo. Have you been to Bonnaroo?
Never been. I've heard it's it's awesome, and yeah, I haven't really gone to that many festivals, to be honest. So maybe this year I'll either hopefully play them or.
Well, have you been to any as a fan? Have you been to any of the big ones or any of the little ones? Come on, you would know if you went to a festival. You would.
I mean, I've played and been to South by Southwest, but
right. Well, that's a really weird festival. You haven't been like to ACL or to Coachella or to Lollapalooza or anything like that.
I haven't. No, I mean the only festival that they have around here is like Governor's Ball and I think Panorama Festival.
Yeah, and they did Made in America there in Philly on the.
Made in America.
That's a big one. My part of my living was shooting festivals. I mean, that picture right there is, from Outside Lands of Ryan Chen in the wheelchair. And it's incredible just because there's so much different music you can see and cut through, and you get,
Totally.
each one is a different personality. And, you'll get on the festival circuit eventually, and then you'll be like, okay, this is what it's all about. So
yeah, I think it's going to be, because I haven't really been to that many festivals. By the time I play them, I think it will be pretty fun and exciting because I've never been. So it's like my first time, but I'm playing it. So that would be cool once that happens.
They're a lot of fun. If you come out to Bonnaroo, you stay the whole weekend. Don't even leave. Just come in, play your show, and then just hang out and rage it up. Because they are a blast, and it's amazing, like social scene. And places like Jazz Fest in New Orleans are different than anything festival I've ever been to, because of the way the city envelops around it. And I just love it. I just love as much music as possible and just going out and being stimulated for like 10 hours. I really miss it. I really miss the crowds. I mean, I never thought sometimes you'd be like, oh, it's gonna be 100,000 people. And now I'm like, bring it on.
Yeah, man. I feel like a lot of people are feeling the same way. They're as thirsty as ever for live music, which is, I think it's going to come back bigger and more beautiful than ever, to be honest.
All right, well, as a young guy, you're sitting there watching this whole world in front of you with all these people, all these old people acting like morons, these presidential candidates and people trying to rip down the Capitol. Like, what's your take on what's happening with our world right now?
Man, I'm just a fan. I'm a fan of progress, and I just want to move forward and hopefully go in the right direction. I don't like division. I like unity, and hopefully we can start adapting that way, and people come together. And I mean, I feel like the only answer is love, and to love each other, and hopefully that could happen, and just people can come together. So we'll see. Time will tell. I think things need to heal a bit, but we'll eventually get there.
Do you feel like we're heading in the right direction?
Again, I think it's gonna take a little bit of time, but I'm an optimistic person. I feel like we'll eventually get there.
Yeah, well, I think that obviously if anything was going to go haywire and not go the way it was going to go, like if there was going to be a revolution, that time has passed. And now we're kind of getting in the way of trying to move this country in a different direction and get on the path of healing. I will say I agree with you 100% on progress. I want to see things move forward. I never want to see things move backwards. And that was the hardest thing about watching the administration the past 4 years was their inability to want things to go forward.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm all about progress. I don't like to be idle or look back. I think we just always every day you need to move forward. So hopefully everybody else feels that way, and we can start, making some things happen.
All right. So with your when you talk to Live Nation to do the deal, did you work in a performance in front of people at the Met when you're able to do it?
No, the video is just us, just me and the band. It
No,
was
but I'm saying later when everything comes back, when concerts get back, I mean, you have to play there again, right? Aren't you feeling that?
Oh, absolutely. I think, I think with the Live Nation and the Met, I think they would want to bring me back when there's an actual audience there.
To rock it out. And how was manifesting the energy without the crowd there to perform? Did you have to dig deeper, you think, because you don't have the crowd like propping you up?
No, I mean, like, I think I might have touched on this before, talking about the live band and our chemistry. I think because we haven't played in so long and been on a stage, we're really just like fueling off each other. I feel like just looking at the band and not being able to perform in so long, that's what was giving me the energy and excitement, and also being in that room. Like I felt like I was performing in front of people, even though there was no one there. Yeah.
Did you run through everything once like it was a show, or did you go back and do different songs? You were like, let's try that one again.
We did maybe one or two songs over because I tripped. That was the only time, really, I think. Yeah, no, we ran through it once. Yeah.
How long's the set?
I believe it's 35 minutes. 35 minutes. Yeah, we do.
And how can everybody tune in? That's the question.
Well, it's going to be premiering live as a live stream event on Bands in Town Live tomorrow, February 3rd at 4 p.m. EST.
Okay. 4 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time.
Correct.
All right. And it's free, right? Yes?
It is free. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Sharing the rock and roll with the world.
I just want people to see it and to get them excited for what's to come, and maybe get them, a lot of people don't know who I am, so I just kind of want to introduce myself. So yeah, watch the show. I don't care if it's free.
How many years? When did you first start with the project you're with now?
I started 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I saw 2018 was when you had your single, right?
Yeah, that was my first single, Give It To Me Straight. So yeah, about 3 or 4 years ago. And we put that song out, and then a couple months later I went to LA and I opened up for the Struts, which was an amazing show. I've known those guys for quite some time. They're really great guys and a great band. And then later that year, I did a tour on the Sirius XM tour, Alt Nation. I don't know if you've heard of that channel.
Of course.
Yeah. There was the Advanced Placement tour. I did that with the Regrets and another great band. And yeah, from there on, just kept putting out music and playing shows regionally and stuff like that. And then COVID hit, and then I had to figure out what to do, and we did this thing, live at the Met.
And your band, has it been the same crew the whole time you started?
Since Micky James, yeah. Actually, no, I took that back. My bass player Adam joined late 2018. But Ryder, my guitar player, and Josh have been with me since we started. I've actually been with Josh for about 8 years. He was in the band I was in before I did Micky James.
And what's it like being in the music scene in Philadelphia? Like growing up with that kind of culture and playing those little JC Dobbs, is that still a place?
No,
on South Street.
Yeah, I think that's been gone for quite some time. But the music scene in Philly is awesome. I feel like there's just a real healthy alternative rock and roll scene there, and a lot of great little venues. Milk Boy, Voltage Lounge, like such cool little kind of dive bars. Johnny Brenda's. I don't know if they're still around anymore since the pandemic, but yeah, a lot of great places.
Yeah, a lot of small venues are closing. They've really had a hard time during this. I mean, a lot of musicians, are out of work. How are you surviving? Like, what are you doing to survive?
Well, Like financially?
Yeah, like how do you keep yourself solvent in these times? Not get too
Well,
personal. You don't have to get too personal.
so a lot of that.
Are you doing like deliveries for Amazon Prime or anything?
No, I have like this this family that I kind of help out. They have this, they run their own business, and they produce products for this for different companies. I kind of help them out once in a while, to help them out, and they help me out. So doing that, I also, my fans help me out and buy my merch and stuff like that. So really, odd jobs, whatever you can kind of take during this pandemic when not touring.
Have you been doing any online performances, like solo things with you and your guitar or anything like that?
Yeah, I've done live streams, and people do there's like that virtual tip jar and stuff like that. So that helps. That definitely helps indie artists like myself.
Yeah, it's been incredibly effective for a ton of my friends and a lot of people doing it, and at every level of musician too. It's from people that are starting out to some of the most established. I see George Porter, who was in the Meters. He's putting out the tip jar and going out there and playing. I mean, everybody needs to eat. And the problem is that the way we all made money was going out to shows, and it just doesn't exist anymore. So the reality is that we all need cash, and hopefully we're going to get a little spinned off here with this relief plan.
Sure, yeah.
And get it going on. So tomorrow night, Micky James, 4:00 Eastern time.
Yes.
All right. Very good. Live from the Met. I'm really looking forward to seeing it, the whole thing. The clip is amazing. I really enjoyed talking to you today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Anything you want to say to your people there before I let you go?
Yeah, well, thanks for tuning in, and I'm very excited for this special live stream tomorrow. And be on the lookout for new music coming this spring. Possibly an EP or an album by the end of this year. So make sure to follow me on my social media, the Micky James Music, or the MickyJames.com.
Great. And I'm sure if we all get back out of this in the earlier on end of summer, beginning of fall, you guys will probably start playing as soon as you possibly can, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Once those floodgates open, I think it's a green light.
Yeah, you better clean out all your closets and make sure everything's nice and tidy in your place now, because once you're on the road, you're probably not coming home a lot.
I'm planning on it, man. Hopefully
that's
that
great. And one last thing, happy birthday.
That's right. Yeah, it's my
today,
birthday.
Groundhog Day.
That's it. Yeah, Groundhog.
So the groundhog wasn't the only thing to see his shadow on the 2nd of February.
What's funny? I've actually never seen that movie. It's not kind of
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I know.
There you go. You got a nice snowy day. It's Groundhog Day. You were born on Groundhog Day. It's kind of fitting. But you had a couple of your fans here come in and say happy birthday. So happy birthday. It's a great. My son was born like 2 or 3 days ago. Amazing human being born this time of year. So.
Oh, thank you. Well, happy birthday to your son.
Thanks. Believe me, happy. It's my celebration. When you get into your 20s, you're just like, all right, this is it's my party too. Thanks, totally. Micky. Have a great time. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow live from the Met.
Thank you so much, man. Take care.
All right. Micky James on 420 Live. Real talent. You guys got to check it out. Walter, thank you for your help today. Walter McDonald from the fine team there with Micky, and our good friend Ike Richmond, Jeff Gordon from Live Nation in Philadelphia, John Hampton. Thank you guys so much for making Micky available and thinking of us here at 420 Live. We love our Live Nation team and all our friends. These are the people that have been here with us since day one, tuning in and being fans of the 420 Live show. So thank you all for coming on. It's great. This has been, as I always say, an educational experience for me too, coming on this side. I was talking to Micky before the show. I'm like, are you familiar with my work? He's like, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, great. Because this isn't what I do. So I'm going to try to get through this today as professional as possible. And I think we did a great job. And I'll tell you what, listening to his music, I just had it playing. It's like doing a little work around here. It's so many different amazing influences. It sounds so familiar. Get on your Spotify, check out Micky. And tomorrow you got a free show. You got a little 35 minutes of entertainment from our fine friends there at the Met in Philly. I'll be back there to stand next to Ike Richmond at the next Fish show at the Met. Maybe not the Met. I don't think Fish is going to be able to contain by the Met next time they come into town. They got too much going on, but let's talk about our sponsors. Sinlawn.com with the Sour Diesel brand of synthetic lawn for all your synthetic lawn needs. I was rolling around on our synthetic lawn yesterday with our dog, and, this is the way to go out here in California. It's not dirty. It's not muddy. You don't waste water. And if you want to put this on your patio or inside your bedroom, it would make a beautiful carpet, and you could feel like you live in a park. It's like you're sleeping outdoors. You can feel like you're homeless from inside your house with Sinlawn. I'm sure Sinlawn loves the way I talk about their product on here. And with all the money and the water you're saving at Sinlawn, you can make yourself a delicious cup of Grady's Cold Brew. Yes, sir. Grady's Cold Brew. Grady's Cold Brew, sorry. In the store and pour pouch, New Orleans style chicory coffee. Doesn't even need sugar. It's delicious. You can make 36 cups out of these bags in here, and they're all sealed up, and you just drop them in there and pop. Next thing you know, you got coffee for days. You get a 20% discount right down there if you use the 420 live code right there. See it? All right. There it is, Grady's Cold Brew. And, what else we got? Tomorrow we got our friend Mark Joseph coming on. Mark will play us a couple songs. Going to hang out and talk. We're all gearing up to get ready to go back down to the Virgin Islands of St. John at the end of the month, or beginning of March, for the Virgin Islands Jam Fest. 4th, 5th, and 6th of March at the Windmill Bar in St. John, Virgin Islands. And if you haven't been to the Windmill Bar, it is one of the best places to watch that sunset, sky change. Look at the multi-billion-dollar yachts. The whole thing is absolutely incredible. What a time. What a time. What else we got, folks? Anything? All right, good. Then I'm going to cut you all loose today. Peace, love, happiness to everybody out there. Here's the big 420 hug. Oh, I'm feeling it today. Thank you to Micky James. Make sure you turn in tomorrow for the Met. Yeah, Janine, you know what? Get out of New York. Just get on a plane. You don't need to be there. Get the fuck out. You won't miss anything. Now's the time to go. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful wherever you go. Hot and sunny. Cozumel first for me. Cozumel's numbers are down, not as much as Tulum and Playa and Cancun. So I'll be in Cozumel with my friend Henry on Sunday. I already told him, Henry, Monday morning, I'm on a 7:30 a.m. boat. Get me out. Get me under that water. I got some fish I got to catch up with. I need some tacos. Everybody needs to move. I'm not sticking around. I invited the family. They're like, nah, we don't want to fly. I'm like, I'll fly. I ain't afraid no airplane. I got the 6 masks. Did you see the mask? They got this new mask, not the one that just goes over your head, but they got this new one that buckles in and straps into your shoulders, and it has a helmet. You look like a robot. You look like Robbie the Robot. People walking around with these hats on. I'm like, really? And I went to the doctor the other day, and they're not even seeing COVID patients anymore. People aren't even coming in sick with COVID right now in California. Hallelujah. They were seeing 10 a day, and they sent every one of them home, and nobody went to the hospital. My doctor today is like, nobody here got admitted to the hospital from our office. 10 a day. I'm like, okay. I don't want to say there's something going on, but you know what? I get it. We're doing this for the common good. I just don't understand how places like Florida's numbers can go down when they've been up all the time and open, and we've been closed and our numbers are going down too. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, there's so many things that don't make sense. I know people in Florida aren't counting, right? I've heard that before. So anyway, not my table. I was actually leaving. All right, guys. Have a great day.